In November last year, 2013, Shanghai-based Chinese artist Zhang Enli immersed his audience into the luscious colours and gestural strokes of his space painting installation at the ICA. We came to see Zhang Enli's current exhibition at Hauser Wirth in Saville Row. There is a painted installation space for this show too, although much smaller than his ICA installation. It is more intimate, almost like a den. To be immersed into Zhang's vibrant hues and tonal motions is to revisit a childhood sensibility when play and dreams transport us into altered states. We began by asking Zhang what kind of materials he used in his work. There is a celebration of material process in your work. Is this something you've always been interested in?
The materials I used are all very ordinary, like ropes and strings. Something transparent or something flexible. Or the wood itself. These are very simple, ordinary materials in our everyday life. It's not special, like some kind of metal that you would have to search for. Just everyday things.
So as a student, did you learn a traditional process?
Yes.
And did this influence the way you work?
Of course.
So do you pass that influence to your students now?
Not necessarily. Everybody, since they were young, what they saw, what they experienced, what they identified with, eventually forms into their own way of thinking. What I saw and experienced from childhood to adulthood has formed me into what I am now. Your experiences have an impact. Thus, when you tell your experiences to somebody else, that somebody may not have the same understanding as you.
I understand that you were brought up and trained in a small town before you moved to Shanghai. And I wanted to ask you, does the environment you live in make a difference to the work you make? And if so, how?
My childhood influenced me when I moved to Shanghai. I think that sometimes it's not the influence from the changing of the environment, but the impact from the environment itself, upon oneself, and the environment you live in. Because when your life, or what's around your life, has changed, sometimes the change of the environment and its influence is just on the surface, but your inner spirit may not be changed.
I've read one of your quotes on this website, and it said, if you leave a glass on a table, it leaves a watermark, and that mark is what I want to express. And there is a sense of the physical presence, a trace of a physical presence. Explain that, please.
I am particularly interested in the phenomena of uncertainty in our lives. For example, it's just like the watermark left on the table when you move the glass away. I'm interested in the watermark's relationship with the glass and how one interacts with the glass, rather than the glass itself, or the table as an object.
So how did you do it then?
It's actually casual and relaxed. We've always been exploring what is content, but sometimes there is no such thing as content. For instance, one has spent a long time on the wall in the room. Usually a painter should be expressing his thoughts or content through his paintings. But what I would argue is that there is nothing on the wall, although it's covered in paint. It's about the process and stories and even time itself preserved within the craft. It is even more significant than the knowledge and thoughts that I learned from history. I'm someone who is striving to experience the details, to feel through your body and eyes. This might be more significant than these so-called well-known theories. This is what we should do.
With the brown pipe canvas, Zhang shows us how he made his paintings by gesturing the marks across the canvas. You could say that he was re-performing his paintings for us. He paints a lot of images of pipes, different kinds of pipes, soft, hard, big. They represent weight and power. The pipes can be seen as measurements of his body, the length of the stretch of his arm. This, he says, is a ruler, and the brushes he uses were the thickness of the marks he makes in one stroke.